All right, so after a long hiatus from playing Ninth Age, decided to go out to the shop and play a game of Ninth Age. This battle report is another battle between me and Oncebitten. He decided not to do a video of his own on this one, so I'm going to be carrying the torch on this. This is 5,000 points between Kingdom of Equitane and the Warriors of the Dark Gods. So he has a bunch of different knights here from left to right, small units of about 20 archers just sitting around trying to be a nuisance, and he has 2 large units of knights errant or whatever they call them, and 1 unit in the middle. He gets the vanguard, he moves forward like so, and he moves his, that hound unit is actually a yeoman unit. I think he has 2 yeoman units. That unit there in front, there's a yeoman unit, and I decided to vanguard up ahead like that. I borrowed 2 pain trains this time and 2 chimera with a war shrine there in the middle to protect against shooting, and it did work this game very well actually. Well, we lost very few warriors to shooting, but then again he didn't have a lot of shooting to muster. I moved forward with pretty much, well, I don't even think I moved yet. No, yeah, I moved forward just enough to actually have a battle line to strengthen my battle line. Now, originally what I wanted to do was use the chimera as using it very conservatively, charging small units, getting them to and destroying small units and then backing off. That's my usual conservative play. Oncebitten said it himself, like he errs on playing more aggressively. I err on playing too conservatively, and he charges his yeoman unit into my hound unit. Not really. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not really really scared there. They're just hounds and they're insignificant, so if they die, they die. Over here, I'm not really sure what to do. That is a knight unit over there, and it would be good to get those points, but I would have to dedicate a crap ton of points for a very little return. So I'm going to end up ignoring that unit for the time being. And over here on the right side, I move the warriors up forward. I don't really know what to do with these warriors. They don't have a place in this particular army, and I think it needs to go back to the point where chariots are core, because just having warriors or fallen as core is foolish actually. The army doesn't work like that anymore. That was from a bygone age where you would use giant blocks of warriors and just move them across the battlefield. In his shooting phase, well, not in the shooting phase, in his turn, he decides to move his Lord on a Hippogriff. That's the guy behind that building. Move him over to the left. Don't know what this is a picture of. Oh. Yeah, his unit overran after killing the hounds. They overran and ran into the chimera, so that's going to be nice and tasty there. As long as I do enough wounds to kill them all. If I don't kill them all, there's a chance that chimera might fail his restraint and run forward and get his face kicked in. However, in hindsight, it might be a good thing if I could use the chimera as a bait. And so the chimera flies up, he runs 12, ends up on top of that building, on top of that hill. And I wasn't I wasn't planning for that, but now thinking back, that's not a bad strategy. Kind of put the chimeras out there, and like, yeah, if you charge those chimeras, I'm going to destroy you. But instead, he attempts to charge the chimera. I flee, and then he wants to make a long charge. It was like 9 inches. He needed a 9 to make it to those warriors, a 9 or a 10 or something like that. And then he rolls a 9 or a 10. So wasn't expecting that. I kind of wanted to try to keep peppering that unit with Skull Splitter, but that's not going to happen. Here, I don't have very much hope for this unit. I believe this unit has his queen or Lady of the Lake or whatever in there, and yeah, that's not going to be good. That unit is there to protect her, so they're going to be plenty strong. Their weapon skill is 5. The warrior's weapon skill is 4. It would have been nice to have sword and board, but I took that off in lieu of halberds. I might actually go back to doing that. Over here on the left, he flies his Hippogriff Lord over to the right of the Crushers. Very bad position for me. But, however, this leaves the field open in the center. Here's another look at the Chimera fleeing. I can possibly push up the Crushers far enough to actually get into charge range for that unit. In fact, I think they might already be in charge range. It's a long charge, but I have 3d6 and pretty good chance I'm going to roll that. I think I needed a 9 or a 10 or something like that to make it there. And that marker there is for him to have reroll hit in close combat. He gets that off, wasn't able to stop it. It's not necessarily because I have no wizard, it's just because just not enough dice. All right, so the warriors die. They bite the big one. That should slingshot his unit well over to the other side of the board, and he's trying to get the extra points at the end of the game. There's a secondary mission to break through and get onto your opponent's, get to your opponent's side. I should have actually been trying to do the breakthrough with one of my units. I wasn't thinking about it. My Crushers make the long charge over here, so this is not going to be good for them. They actually did a crap ton of damage. They took down, I'm thinking around 7 or 8 knights, and then they did. I got full points for the challenge, and then he broke. I took him, overran him. I made contact with the unit, and since this is a new charge, so I hit the unit on the flank. So this is a good position for that Crusher bus. The other Crusher bus, they're in a tenuous spot with that Lord of his floating around. Over here, he does, in his turn, he moves around the back side of this building. He wants to get some clear shooting at with his magic on the other Chimera, and he does, and he actually kills that Chimera that was on the other side. There were 2 Chimeras there sitting side by side with each other, and he makes that one a ghost. Yeah, there's another picture there. He was actually able to, in his turn, he was able to charge my general's rear. In hindsight, I should have had turned my general around to face him. At least he wouldn't have got a rear, because what's going to end up happening, he's probably not going to kill my general. I don't have any fear of that. What I do have a fear of, however, is him beating me from combat resolution, from charging in the rear. And that's exactly what happened. He wasn't really able to get any wounds through, but he was able to get those charge bonuses, and my general broke because my BSB is on the other side of the board, and I rolled 11. So yeah, kind of sucks. But over here, the Crushers do their thing in his turn, and in my turn I moved them like so to get on top of the hill, so at least a Chimera might have a reroll for leadership test if he were to break. But I decided to move the Chimera, and then when I did rallied Chimera, he flew away over behind the War Shrine. Yeah, I ignored those guys over there. I probably should have killed them, but I ignored them. And actually, those bowmen were actually the difference between a win and a loss, because it was a difference of that can be the difference of a win and a loss. I never really thought of it like that, but it is the truth. I marched the War Shrine up like that so that the War Shrine could possibly take the charge from his elite unit, and maybe, just maybe, the War Shrine could roll an 8, you know what I mean, and stick around. But I've been rolling very high on leadership and all that all game long, so it's I don't know. In his turn, he was able to get a charge in the front and in the rear of the Crusher bus, and on the side with the Yeoman. Now the Yeoman, I believe that was I don't know what he was thinking when he charged those guys in. Those are just points you're gonna feed me. Yeah. So what I want to do with this BSB now, I want to be able to make a, if the shrine does what it's supposed to do and holds the unit there, he can actually make a charge into that last lance and possibly break it. In close combat, I was able to win in close combat. His unit in the rear broke. His Yeoman actually stuck around because I pretty much almost ignored the Yeoman. I think I threw one Juggernaut into the Yeoman, and he did like 2 wounds or something like that. And the shrine in close combat, it didn't do, like, he didn't do any damage to it, but I rolled very high with leadership, and it broke and it ran. He chased it down, he killed it, but he did expose his rear to my BSB. So on my turn, I charged the rear. I was not able to get my crushers into that unit. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you get these pictures that don't really make it. I don't know what that picture is there for, but anyway. Yeah, over here, the BSB made a long charge into the rear of his unit. He was able to kill the champion. Then he broke it down to just being in contact with the woman of the lake or whatever, and some other guys, regular Joes. Over here, I don't know what these crushers can do here. They're just in a bad spot. They're going to get charged in the face by that guy, and he's pretty darn good in close combat against single models, and against unit the unit itself. He's not that great. And I'm like, I hate the fact that I have to challenge. It's just so stupid. They should make it where you get a leadership test in order to see if you have to challenge or something. If you're gonna break away from fantasy, then break away. That's what I always say. Yeah, and in close combat, he was able to get close combat there. I moved the crushers up thinking I was gonna be able to get into a charge position, but he's gonna do a trick here. He's gonna pull a hat trick on me. The Yeoman, I think something was able to do a wound on one of the crushers. I'm not sure. I think it might have been the Yeoman unit or something. I'm not sure. But yeah. Yeah, the Yeomen are from over there, shooting out of that building over there. Were able to pull a wound on one of the crushers. That's what it was. Still trying to make points with him. He was able to kill the champion in close combat. I had a banner, and he had 1 wound against me, or it might have been 2 wounds, and then I had a banner, and then he was able to do a wound and kill, and we got a tied close combat. I was able to do 1 wound back. It was tied, and musician doesn't break ties, so yeah, we just sit there. He turns around in such a way down here at the bottom where the crushers can't get into base contact. That was his hat trick. Yeah, very well played. He is a smooth operator. His unit over here of I think they're these errant guys. They failed their leadership test and they weren't able to march because he wanted to get those guys into the deployment zone. So it ended up being a win for Oncebitten. Didn't look like it, but it was. It was an 11-9 victory. And if I had gotten my crushers over there into his deployment zone, it would have been a victory on my